Hello everyone, good evening. We're on to talk about Chelsea. Why can't I hear anything? Can I hear myself talking? Can you guys hear me? That's the main thing. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Come say hello in the chat. Talking Chelsea, reaction to last night. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Why can't I hear myself? Weird. How are you all doing? Can you hear me? I can't hear myself. This is really, really weird. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or give me a yes if you can. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, God. Cool, you can hear me. Marvellous. Adam Leaf, Brian, good to see you in. Good to see you. How are you all doing? Hopefully you're doing well. I know I've picked a time when the other game's on, but I'm not interested in that game. Well, not at the moment. I'm going to record it, and then I'll watch it a little bit later on. Oh, it's good to see you all in. Good to see you here. Hopefully you've had a couple of hours to get back and just to reminisce on what happened last night and, you know, not feel so bad. Feel quite positive about it. Feel quite positive about the fact that Chelsea went out and actually got a good result. I know we should have won it. I know, but these things happen. Paul couldn't be here, but he put a post up earlier saying, on fire last night. Real didn't know what hit him. Another Tuchel masterclass. Think Timo deserves more time? Question mark. Although, how much is another question? Timo's getting a lot of stick today, isn't he? Ice Cold's in the office. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for joining. But yeah, so Lily's in. Good to see you here. I don't expect many to come on, obviously, because I know the football's on. So I just thought I'd just do an hour. We might sort of do this Wednesdays when we're not playing, just to join a bit of a chat, see what's happening, see how it's all going. And just, as I say, reactions to last night's performance. Brian said, good performance and a result for us. We should be pleased. We should. Definitely should. If anything, I still basically feel that was a great result. Leaf goes to Rugby, says, can't believe they'll stick Werner's getting elsewhere. If we repeat the 2012 double, that will soon be forgotten. Alonso, good to see you. I'm good. How are you? Hopefully you're good, mate. Chris Show's here as well. Yeah, so Werner's getting a lot of stick, isn't he? Richard's here as well. Garcia. I don't know any scores for the games tonight. I don't want to know, so don't put anything in the chat about the scores. I'm recording the game to watch it later after this stream. I'll watch the whole lot. I like sitting watching full games so I can get a feel for you know, the other teams that we could potentially be playing. Tara, don't any spoilers. No spoilers in the chat, guys. Richard, good to see you here. Kasi, as I said, Batara, Dara, good to see you. Good to see some of the community back in, as always. Don't expect big numbers tonight, but not a problem. Not a problem. I just like to keep things, you know, with this. I'm looking at doing channel memberships as well, by the way. Channel memberships on YouTube. I'm just doing 99p to be a channel member a month and £2.99 a month to do a members only live stream. Maybe once, twice a month. Just members only. Not the general public. Not Joe Public, but the members. Which will be good. That'll be you guys. So I'm just waiting for it to all be approved and it'll be live. Thank you, Brian. I know you wouldn't be able to spoil it. Good. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So, I see that CFC videos have done a video of N'Golo Conte. Chris O says he was so proud of his team and think we played well. However, we can see the weak link in the team. What's the weak link, Chris O? Dogbone, good to see you, mate. Chelsea TV says should have won 3-1. We should have done. Maybe should have done. But yeah, so Werner's big numbers. It was big numbers last night. At one point, the viewership went up to over 1,000. But I think that's because they probably thought it was a live stream. So they jumped on, then jumped off, and they realised it wasn't. But yeah, we had at one point there was 400 consistently watching, which was good. Dale, good to see you, mate. Leaf says only half time, but Pulisic stepped out of Hazard's shadow. He did. He did. Alonso makes a good point. No, it's not. It's lemonade. Lemonade, the old throat still. Alonso says if Werner scores and helps us for any silver or top four, all is forgiven, just like Torres. Dal says we should have won it. I was pleased. I was pleased with the way we approached the game, especially the first half. Thomas Tuchel spoke the first half, didn't he? He said, it was interesting to see that he said that he thought we were tired second half, having only had 2 days in between playing West Ham, the Sunday, Monday, and then obviously preparing for the game on the Tuesday. Which is a good point, I guess. Batara says he'd be mad to Timo if Chelsea couldn't get to the final. We should have won. We could have won 3-1. But yeah, we could have done. The thing is as well, people are going to go at Timo Werner, but what I did last night is, obviously I did the commentary with you guys. But I recorded the game. So I went back indoors last night and I watched the game again in full. Like the coverage on BT Sport with Glenn Oddle and doing the commentary and stuff like that. And when you watch the game in full a second time, you see things that you maybe missed when you're doing the commentary. And one thing I will say about Timo Werner last night is what he did is they played the back three. And obviously you have to say Tuchel's had a word with him. And what he did consistently from the time he was on the pitch, he switched between one centre-back to the next one to the next one. He was continuously moving around. One point he popped up on our left-hand side. Militao had him, their right side centre-back. Then he come into the middle with Varane. Then he go out onto the other side, up against Nacho on our right, their left. And he kept switching between the 3 centre-backs. So none of them knew where he was going to go, where to mark him. Like, you have that adage where you're marking somebody and they move past you towards the middle and you pass them on to the next person. And then with that, coupled with the 2 number 10s, Mount and Pulisic, that's why they kept finding a lot of space because Werner was occupying the centre-backs, which is good to see. So look at some more comments. Brian says, a confident team will score a lot of goals for us, even though we might have to wait until next season to get the best out of him. That's a good shout. Good shout, Brian. Richard believes we made ourselves proud last night. We did, and I agree with that 100%. Dog says Timo made a good run to create space for the goal. Of course he did. Off the ball, as I'm saying. And Batara makes another good point. Timo, good in pressing. He does. He presses the defenders. He occupies them. But not only that, but what Timo Werner does is he creates uncertainty. Not by just moving around the centre-backs, but they know that he's got pace to burn, and they know that at any point he's making a run and he's off. And in the back of their mind, they're always worried about the fact that Timo Werner will go and make these runs. And for a defender, you hate that. Jamie Carragher talks about it all the time. You hate playing against pace. You'd rather play with someone that sits in front of you like Giroud, not Werner, who's always looking to get in behind and make runs around you. So I think that Werner's performance last night overall was good. West Ham's brilliant weekend. I thought yesterday was good. Yes, that chance he missed early from the header down to him by Christian Pulisic, but it come right at him. He's right on the 6-yard box. He probably thinks he's going to get clattered. He just did something to try and get a shot on target. But for the snake's long legs, it would have gone in. And the other one, people are talking about is the one where he drove on the right-hand side of the box and he had a shot towards the near post where he should have squared it. The defender was shutting him down. He's never been able to square it. So, and of course, there was times when balls were being played into the box and it was like a yard too far in front of Werner, or second half a yard too in front of Havertz. So, you know, the good thing is, No Lean's here as well. No Lean, good to see you. Timo's working very hard for the team, but I think he's trying to be too safe finishing chances through lack of confidence instead of just going with his instincts to finish. That's a good comment. That's a good shout. No Lean, thank you very much for your comment. Thank you about the commentary. I mean, there's so much to take from that game. Len, hello, mate. How are you doing? Good to see you in. But yeah, so it's got like, so if you think about the positives from that game, we got the away goal. We dominated the first half. We created numerous opportunities to break in behind their defensive or their midfield line to attack their defensive line. And I literally, I mean, that's so massive. So big. And after the coverage on BT Sport, in the studio, they had obviously Gary Lineker, they had Rio Ferdinand, Joe Cole and Steve McManaman. And even Steve McManaman turned around and said that he feels as though Real Madrid maybe didn't give Chelsea enough respect. And now they've literally will have to wake up. They probably would have been quite shocked with the way that they couldn't get to Chelsea and that Chelsea probably surprised them. And they're going to have to be at their very, very best to get a result at Stamford Bridge. But all of them said, well, Joe Cole and McManaman said Chelsea favourites. Rio Ferdinand thinks there's more to it with Real Madrid's second leg with the likes of Hazard, Sergio Ramos, that sort of thing. But we shall see. So Len said, unlucky last night at Doolham at the Bridge. Exactly. Come on, you Blues. Exactly. Alonso, pundits will pick on Timo, but he never gives up or hides or dives. Look at the positives. Exactly, Alonso. Chriso, good shout. I'd say Jorginho, he had a good game, but didn't play in great passing to wow me. He was just there to do a job to break things up in middle and midfield, and he did that. But the little one-touch passes, the give and goes we had were outstanding to play through their press and break. Batara says that he thinks that Timo Werner seems like he was thinking too much when he was controlling the ball. Yeah, maybe. Just as a comment said earlier, go with his instincts. Ice cold, good to see you, mate. Was very impressed by how we broke through their press. When Kova returns second leg, it'll be even easier. It will. The master at breaking from defence into attack. Justin's in. Good to see you, Justin. Was the 58th minute push a penalty? For me, it was. Especially when you see the replay behind the goal. When, is it Carvajal? Doesn't even play the ball. And his strong arms. It's not like a shoulder charge, a fair shoulder barge. It's proper strong arm. Have some of that out the way. So I agree with you. I didn't think at the time when you look at it from the angle we saw it on commentary that it was. I just thought it was just a barge. But behind the goal, when you see the proper strong arm, I think it was. Very surprised that VAR didn't look at it. Brian, the longer it stays 0-0 next week, the more pressure there'll be on Real Madrid to score. Yeah, they're going to come at us from the kickoff next week. This time next week we'll be playing them and hopefully through to our third Champions League final. But they're going to come at us early. They're going to look to score early and even the playing field. But people are talking about, obviously, Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard's going to be playing probably from the start next week. They're going to build him up to play from the start. All I'm thinking is the fact that he'll be up against the wing-back, whether it's Aspi, whether it's Reece James. But once he gets past them, if he gets past them, he's then got to face the right-sided centre-back, which will be either Aspi or Christensen. So he's got to get through two lines to get in. Dale, good to see you, mate. We're going to the final, defo, hopefully. Hopefully. A lot can happen in football, though, as we all know. Alonso, Chelsea, would you stick with Timo or change to Tammy or Giroud? I would stick with Timo for the second leg, purely and simply because of his mobility and his pace and the way he works in between. Tammy's mobile. Like I've said it numerous times. Think of mobility, think of pace. You got Timo there, you got Tammy here, you got Giroud down here. If you wanted to play someone as a outball or a focal point, you switch them up. So Giroud will be here, then Tammy will be here, then Timo down here. So for me, I think you've got to go with Timo next week again because pace scares anybody. But I'd like to see Tammy or Giroud get a go come on at some point, second half if we need them. Richard, we need plenty of possession next week. They can't score without the ball. Exactly. And there's that saying in football, the ball never gets tired. So keep moving it. Keep moving that ball about. Make the pitch big. So Brian believes, Reece James should start next week, excuse me, with Aspie at right centre-back. That's a good shout. Christensen's done well though, right? At 10, good to see you in. It's not too bad. It's only been on for 15 minutes. We'll be on till 10. We'll do an hour. Just so you know, everybody, if you're joining the chat, thank you for joining first and foremost. Secondly, no spoilers, please, on the PSG Man City game. I'm recording it to watch after this. I think I got a massive chance. FA Cup final, we got a massive chance to win it. Champions League, get past Real Madrid, got a massive chance to win it. We'll be written off. We're written off. We're being written off by a lot of people right now for the second leg. That Real Madrid will win their players back. Hazard, Ramos, the big players back. That they'll beat us. They'll score at Stamford Bridge. We're being written off again. If we get through to the final, no matter who we play against, we'll be written off again. Who cares? They wrote us off against Man City. We beat Man City. They wrote us off against Atletico Madrid over 2 games. They did nothing. We made them look bang average. Porto, who everyone was raving about, such a team collective against Juventus. What they did to Juventus over 2 games, which was really, really impressive. Porto hardly laid a finger on us until that outstanding overhead kick at the end. It's just the defensive unit we've got. It's going to be very difficult for Thomas Tuchel to change and step away from this next season, I have to say. But what's surprising is that these, you imagine, like we saw what's his face? They're warmed up. David Moyes. He was at Chelsea Brighton, which was the dullest game of the season by far. And he sits and watching. So you think that these people got video footage of Chelsea playing and the way we play, and they must be at a point where they're trying to work out how to play against us. Real Madrid yesterday was so interesting because what they did, 3 at the back and 2 wing backs. They matched up our back 3 and 2 wing backs. They just decided to go with 3 in the middle of midfield rather than 2 like we had. And they went with 2 up front, up against our defenders, rather than 1 up front with the 2 number 10s. We use the extra man in the attacking area. They use the extra man in their midfield, the flat midfield. And bearing in mind we're outnumbered 2-1 or 3-2 in the middle of midfield, we dominated them. They had a lot of possession going sideways. Modric and Toni Kroos spent most of the time in their own half picking the ball up. They just couldn't work out how to play against us. And what people forget is what they said before the game. You've got Jorginho and Conte sitting here. Like if we go up the pitch here, Jorginho and Conte sitting here. You've got Mount and Pulisic as number 10s here. It creates a box. And that 4 in a box in the middle of the midfield and into the attacking area creates all sorts of problems. Massive problems. And people can't work out how to deal with it. Let's have a look. Richard says Tammy and Timo up front is a good combo. Good shout if you have to go 2 up top. Batara says the best way for us to set our mind is to win the game. Don't set our mind at 0-0. Just build a winning mentality. That's a good shout as well. Brian Christensen has been great, but we need Aspie to cover James against Hazard. Yeah, Aspie, best one-on-one. Well, he was the best one-on-one defender in the game. Plus, he knows Hazard inside out. Alonso, do we rest his team this weekend and play the same team against Real next week? I think there'll be changes this weekend, big changes. I think you're going to see Kurt Zuma playing the weekend. I think you're going to see Hudson-Odoi play, probably a wing-back, or even Reece James. I think you'll see Alonso playing. I think you're going to see... I think Kovacic is ruled out. The same 2 in midfield will continue. Hopefully Mason Mount doesn't play deep line midfielder. And then I think you'll see Ziyech, Havertz, maybe Tammy up front with the front 3 rested, maybe. You never know. I think that same team against Real Madrid next week will do well. Chris Show, however, teams that play free at the back gives us a harder time for sure. It does. It does give us a harder time, but we opened them up left, right, and centre. Brian Batata, of course, want to win the game. We definitely don't want to give it away an early goal. Exactly. I'd love to see these youngsters lift 2 cups, not for me, but for them. That's why they're here. It would be massive for the club. That's a good shout. It would be. I was looking around different times yesterday when I rewatched the game back, and I was quite proud of the fact you're sitting there with Mason Mount, Reece James, Ben Chilwell. You've got 3 English players in the Chelsea team. Just because, rather than play 1 English player or, and 2 boys from the academy especially, in James and Mason Mount. How good is Mason Mount, by the way, this season? He was just brilliant yesterday. Mohamed, when's Kovacic back? He's back for next Wednesday, Real Madrid. I can't see him playing against Fulham. Love the commentary as always. Thank you. Appreciate it. Alonso, any strikers, Chelsea? Any strikers, Chelsea? You woo. What's that mean? Richard, we got some cracking players watching them go next season. That's the thing. You think the players we signed, do we need anybody to come in this summer? If Giroud will probably go. Someone's got to replace Olivier Giroud. Who'd want to come in as a third choice? Oh, right, okay. Alonso, sorry, mate. Alonso, any strikers, Chelsea, you would like this summer realistically? Aguero on a free, but I can't see it happening. I don't know, really. I really don't know. It depends if Tammy goes. I think, as we've said before in another chat we did the other week, Lukaku's got a point to prove at Chelsea, isn't he? He's proven in the Premier League. MSB, good to see you here. What's the plan for Billy? He needs to play at some point. See, I agree with that, MSB, but I think if you look back to when Thomas Tuchel first took over, I think maybe a couple of games in, he was asked about Billy Gilmour, and the impression I got back then was, I don't think he thinks he's physically ready. I think he thinks he's too small. He can get pushed off the ball too easy. And that's why I think he doesn't feature much. But we all know Billy Gilmour, I mean, Gianfranco Zola wasn't big, was he? Look at the impact he had in the Premier League. It's not the size of you, it's what you can do with the ball, I guess. But because he plays in such a demanding position in the middle of midfield in the Premier League, it's asking, do you think you could see Billy Gilmour, for example, you would play Billy Gilmour on Saturday against Fulham, no disrespect to them, but you'll give him a go against Fulham, but you wouldn't play him against Real Madrid, if you know what I mean. Only at this point of his career. Give it 3, 4 seasons, 5 seasons, when he's used to playing week in, week out, shove him in. But I guess the argument to that, the counter-argument is, how's he going to get experience and develop and get used to playing in the league unless he plays? So I do understand what you're saying. What do you think? Do you think Billy should be playing MSP? Watara at 10. Imagine seeing Aspie lift the Big Head Trophy. Yeah, exactly. Brian, Mason Mount has proved to be potentially one of the best midfielders in the world. Next season will be even better than this one. He's had a good couple of seasons, hasn't he? Since he's come in. Frank Lampard's. Like, they used to sit and just talk about him being like the teacher's pet and all this, but how can you drop him? How can you drop him? Even Tuchel's realised that. Alonso, have we forgiven Roman and we're ready to leave that in the past now? It's sort of got to the point now, the way I feel with it is it's got to the point now where you just think, what a waste of time that was. What an inconvenience it was. What an absolute joke it was. And I can't believe he did it. So I still think there's a pretty sour taste in the mouth. And the fact that it's taken Chelsea so long to come out with their statement, there's almost apology. But at least the positive from all of it is the fact that it appears that we were the last ones in and we were the first ones out. Before it was confirmed officially by Man City, Chelsea had already made their intentions clear. I actually read an article in The Athletic about Petr Cech being outside the ground. He was outside the ground pleading with the supporters, obviously, to let the team bus in. Now, it was being reported that Petr Cech was inside the ground and was chosen to come out to speak to Chelsea fans. Petr Cech was late himself. He'd only just got to the ground himself. He did not know that Chelsea were preparing to pull out. They changed their mind. He had no clue. But because of the time it took him to get to the ground, he was appealing for the fans to let the team buses in. And then when he went inside, he then found out the club's intention. But when Petr Cech was talking to the fans, he didn't know, which I thought was really interesting. Indy, good to see you here. Ramos will do his best to take one of our players out. He might go after Mount. I think Mason Mount will be targeted, definitely. Mini Ronaldo, good to see you here, mate. Thank you for joining. Just a little stream tonight, no biggie. Do you think Tuchel will play defence, or is he going to go for the goal? I think if you set up to be defensive and play defensive, you're asking for trouble. Richard, Gilmore would walk into most sides. He would do. He would do. MSB says he wants to see Gilmore, but at the moment, next season, it doesn't make sense. Hopefully, next campaign. It's a goal. Do I have a bet on the games? I don't know. I don't. Mug's game betting. There's only one winner when it comes to betting, and that's not you. You might win now and again, but overall, you don't win. I'm dreaming of Mount and Pully lifting the Champions Cup. Exactly, says a 10. Chris, what about Hudson and Doyle? I'm missing him. Yeah, a lot of us are as well. I think it was good to see Hudson and Doyle and Mason Mount initially with their link up on the right-hand side when he was playing as a wing-back with Mason Mount in front of him. I think that's because it's got to the point in the season where every game is just so important with the top four, with the Champions League. He's going with his experienced players and he's going with proper defenders. So that's why you've not seen Alonso. Now and again, you've seen Alonso. It's been Chilwell most of the time. It's been Reece James or Aspi. That's why he's going for it. I understand what he's doing. Will Hudson-Odoi get a chance to play as a number 10? Possibly. But in these big games, the way they're defending as a unit, the way they're playing as a unit, it's very difficult to break into that team at the minute. Batara, Alonso, yes, forgive him. Look what he's done for CFC. Oh, you're talking about Roman. He's made us the most successful Premier League team since he's owned the club. We are the most successful team since Roman took over. Most successful club in England. There's also, not confirmed, there's also a report I read somewhere that Roman Abramovich had left the decision to Bruce Buck and Guy Lawrence whether or not to join the ESL. And then when the public outcry afterwards happened and all the negative press, Roman apparently was fuming and pulled the plug on it. But that's just reports. There's nothing to confirm. You're never going to get any real confirmed information from Chelsea. That's like transfer rumours. We're going to see a lot of reports at the moment with Chelsea being linked with people coming in, players being linked with leaving the club. You never hear anything until Chelsea announce a signing. So, I mean, you imagine Chelsea win the FA Cup and get to the Champions League final, win the Champions League final. The transfer rumour mill will go through the roof. Will we sign everyone? Richard, I'd love to see us lift that cup this year. Come on the Blues. Exactly. Justin, isn't Tuchel even a 4-3-3 coach? He doesn't change the formation even when we struggle. That's been a point that I was making when he first took over. In the games where we were drawing, and you just think, last 20 minutes, just change it up. He's a manager with a reputation that has a few different tactical formations up his sleeve, and his teams have trained to be able to do that. I guess the problem that we've got is the fact that at times he just hasn't changed it. When we struggle, like Brighton, for example, West Brom, when we got thumped, he didn't change it to a 4-4-1 to have two banks of four to protect the wide areas. And our fullbacks kept going forward, our wing backs, and they exposed our wings. Let's have a look here. Brian, without knowing anything about tonight's game, I definitely prefer to play PSG. There's nothing worse than playing another English team in the Champions League. I actually prefer to play the English team because you know I'm inside out. MSB, how can we go into next season with a bloated squad of attackers without changing to a back four? I think the team, for me, I think the team's set up for 4-2-3-1. I think you got number 10s, you got wingers. Get rid of a left back, so you're left with 2 left backs. Get rid of one of the centre backs, you're left with 4. And then you're going to sit there and then you've got an option to bring in another winger maybe. Another central midfielder. Alonso, thank you for the super chat. Really enjoy these live shows. Thanks, Chels, and hope for more, please, as the season's closing. Yeah, just remember, no spoilers about the PSG Man City game tonight because I'm recording it. I'm going to watch it when this finishes at 10 o'clock. Leaf Ghost of Ruby. Speaking of Tuchel, and I don't think it's deliberate, but did you see that footage circulated of Tuchel not shaking the serpent's hand? I did. That was brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely. And the Hazard. It was brilliant, wasn't it? And especially the fact that the snake, Courtois, reached out to tap him on the hand and he ignored him. Oh dear, it was funny. Yeah, so Alonso, I'm going to be launching channel memberships. Just not 2 options, 99p. So you get yourself a badge in the chat just to become a member. And that's a month, 99p a month. Or there's an option for $2.99 a month for members only live stream chats like this. So hopefully we can get involved and get you guys regular on here. Great little community we've got on here. It's brilliant. Love it all. Matara, Daft, do you believe next season will be 4-2-3-1 structure? I think it will be Mini Ronaldo, no spoilers. Do you believe next season will be 4-2-3-1 structure? We're set up for it. We're definitely set up for 4-2-3-1. As I keep saying, I think if you look at the midfield options that we've got, don't forget the loan players coming back. Who's going to go and when they come back from their loans? Who will go and who will stay? Loftus-Cheek. Will he be a part of Chelsea next season? Ross Barkley. Will he be a part of Chelsea next year? Ethan Ampadu or Ethan Ampadu. Another one. So, yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to happen with the squad next season. This summer. Will Jorginho finally go? I wonder. We'll have to see. He's playing well, right? I have to say, he's playing well. His work rate off the ball and just the way that he's sort of just in this formation with the players all around him, he's sort of come to the fore, I have to say. He gets a lot of stick, Jorginho, for going sideways or slowing things down, and at times he does still do it. But in these recent games, the big games, he's turned up, and I'll give him that. I will give him that. So, yeah, so more live streams. I'm quite happy to do, as I say, these channel memberships. We'll see how these live streams go. Ice cold. What he doesn't like about the back four is that Rudy and Andreas seem to struggle. Yeah. I tell you what it is. That's a really good point, Ice cold. I have to say, and I agree with you completely. And I tell you what you're referring to. I think is think of the big centre halves. Think of the legendary centre halves at our football club. One in particular, John Terry, organiser, talker, motivator, someone that I think Gary Cahill, when he comes to Chelsea, he literally like come to join with John Terry. John Terry just guided him through, coached him through the role, but Cahill was outstanding. But Cahill was always better when he had an organiser and a talker next to him. Ice Cold's point about Rudiger and Andreas Christensen is exactly the same point. I think they're better with people that talk to them next to them. So if you think last night, Rudiger and Christensen playing outside of Thiago Silva's there talking, organising, encouraging, pushing them up, organising, getting their shape right, getting them into positions. And I think that's spot on. I think if they play in a back four, the two of them together, you don't have the same consistency. I think you're spot on, Ice Cold. Good shout. MSB, how much time between the Euros and the start of training? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I wouldn't have thought it was long. Probably less than a month, I'll imagine. Batara, 4-2-3-1, Declan Rice. Will he come, though? That's the thing. I'd like to sign him. I think he's decent. Aten, Baba, Batman, Baka, Moses. Exactly. Baba Rahman, yeah. Mishi Batshuayi, Bakayoko, Moses. Yeah, exactly. Richard, I think you get an option. You get different payment options, I believe. Brian, Jorginho has proved you wrong recently, but you would still prefer Kovacic for next week. That's a good shout. I understand that. I completely understand that. Daniel, good to see you in, mate. Thanks for being here. Squad burnout. We need to keep fresh legs. So players like Gilmore's got to step up and playing games against teams like Fulham to keep our chance of Champions League football next season. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Especially as Tuchel said, we look tired. Expect changes against Fulham. 100%. 100%. It's a go having Silva's like having JT back. He's good, Silva, isn't he? You think of his age as well. People think, oh, he's getting slow. Thing is, though, up here. You got it up here. Your positional sense makes up for lack of speed. Ice cold, fair point. Leadership is key in defence. It is. And especially people that talk and organise. When you got people like the point, Rudiger and Christensen play next to each other. None of them are natural leaders, really. None of them are talkers. You can't see Christensen saying to Tony Rudiger, like, go there, go and mark him. He wouldn't do it. Rudiger wouldn't do it either. He's too focused on kicking lumps out of people. Which, to be fair, he's been playing all right with a cool head lately. But I still think if it kicks off, he's there. He's first there getting involved. So, you know, look at Ricardo Carvalho when he played next to JT. I'm not saying JT brought out the best of him, but Carvalho's a world-class defender anyway. But Carvalho wasn't an organiser. He was someone that looked and read the game, and he could see the game in front of him, and he could read it, and he knew where to be and where to go. So, I mean, if you think of just some of the combinations we've had that haven't really done so well. India, I just hope Tuchel doesn't fall out of the board, which is something that he's prone to do. I think he's perfect for us. I actually think he's really, really, really enjoying it at Chelsea. I think he is. Brian, what about signing Harry Kane after his comments today? What's his comments? I've not seen any news today. I was working. What's Harry Kane said, Brian? Daniel Levy would rather let him leave on a free than sell him to us. He won't sell him to Chelsea. He won't do any business with Chelsea, Daniel Levy. He refuses point blank. We said it the other day with the other chat stream we did. Modric wanted to come to Chelsea. He refused to deal with Chelsea point blank. So Modric was persuaded. I mean, not leaving it much, persuaded to go to Real Madrid. But that was before Real Madrid were even interested. Chelsea were. He wanted to come. He said no chance. So, fair play. But that's Levy for you. But I'm surprised, and fair play to Levy for sacking Mourinho. I thought he would stick with him. He's had to pay him out. Had to pay out a lot of money for Mourinho. What was he on, 15 million a season? Oh, Kane says he wants to win trophies. So why is it at Tottenham? Yeah. The thing is, I'll tell you what's interesting is the fact that for me, Tottenham the closest Tottenham got was a couple of seasons ago under Pochettino. They should have won. Well, I mean, they shouldn't have won the Champions League. The Champions League final between Fulham. What am I talking about? The Champions League final between Liverpool and Tottenham was one of the worst finals I think I've ever seen. It was horrific. And Batara, having Silva until he's 39, look at Ibra right now and he's still firing. Next year he'll be 40. That's if he's not banned. Ibra, I mean. Brian, okay, he said he wants to win trophies and scoring records. He specifically mentioned the Premier League. Yeah. Will he go Man United? Will he go Man City? You'd have to imagine Man United, Man City would be in. Chelsea would be in for him. Not that he'd be allowed to come. And Pochettino at PSG would be in for him, I'd imagine. Who would you guys take? I'll give you 3 options. Harry Kane, Romelu Lukaku, Sergio Aguero. Who would you sign if you had to choose one of them? And why? Interesting to see what you guys think about it. So who would you sign? Lukaku? Would you sign Harry Kane? Or would you sign Sergio Aguero? So Mr. Jake says Kane will go United. We wouldn't want him. His ankles are gone. Could shout out. Dog Bones says Harry Kane. He'll take Harry Kane. Harry Kane's probably the most complete centre forward in the game at the moment. Brian says Harry Kane, but he'll probably go Liverpool. Batara, Lukaku. Good shout for Lukaku. Proven in the Premier League, isn't he? Proven. And obviously, as we said, if Thomas Tuchel is going to come up with additional formations in the summer, then he's going to need 3 strikers, I'd imagine. Alonso, are there any leaders in football these days like JT, Drogba? Rare. They are rare. They are rare, I have to say. I mean, how many are there in the Premier League? Leaf goes to Ruby, says Kane. Even with his injury issues, we'd win the league, no question. MSB, why isn't Kai being looked at as a possible solution with a tweak to formation? I have to say, now let me be honest about this last night with Kai Havertz coming on. I said it in the commentary, I believe I did. When we took Werner off and brought Kai Havertz on as the false 9, or the half 9, as they call it, I sort of worried about that because for me, Kai Havertz's natural reaction is to drop towards the ball, to come towards the ball, to collect it. And he needed to play further forward for me as someone that can get in on the end of things. Like, for example, that cross from Hakim Ziyech, his natural reaction his natural instinct isn't to go to push right up on the defensive line, is to hold back a little bit and then go, make a late run. But there was times where I think we looked up in the box, there was nobody in there. So I do understand why people are saying about bring Tammy on. Maybe for the last, when we took Werner off, should have brought Tammy Abraham on maybe and put Havertz as a number 10, but next to Hakim Ziyech. But who am I to say? Richard says Lukaku. Justin says Harry's got to be the missing piece to where we want to be. Jake says be stupid amount of money for a couple of years from Kane. Exactly. Len says Sergio is a quick fix. Dan, am I convinced to be one of those 3? No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not at all. But who else is there? Bearing in mind, Haaland doesn't want to come to Chelsea because we're not big enough. If we win the Champions League this season, he might change his mind. Especially if Dortmund don't qualify for it, they want to leave. But then you got all the ridiculous money that it's going to cost 160, 70 million to sign Haaland. Chris, you're right. Werner is better keeping the centre-backs where they're supposed to be. Havertz, they can be more relaxed because they don't have that speed. Yeah, as I keep saying, centre-backs, defenders don't like playing against people with speed, with pace, lightning pace like Werner's got. They much rather see people that play in front of them where they can monitor where they're moving to. Paulie, Paolo, good to see you here. We've got to put our hat on the ring for Harry Kane. Fair play. Fair play. Why is Tuchel not playing a real striker? He is. He played Werner. Ice cold. Do I rate Inacho from Leicester? Rumours of interest from Chelsea. He's on a great run, isn't he? Is it 9 games he scored in a row or something? 10 games? He's decent, isn't he? I think he's all right. Is he the real deal? Alonso, Chelsea. What's your oldest Chelsea jersey I've got? I've got Autoglass Zola 1998, you believe. I've got a 90. I've got I've got the Full Members Cup final the white shirt, or the Full Members Cup white Chelsea shirt, the old school one. That's in a drawer somewhere. It's about 12 sizes too small for me now. Paul A, what have I missed? Here you go. This is for some of the older Chelsea fans, or Chelsea fans that have been around a long time. Do you remember when Chelsea come up with their own kit brand? They didn't go to the likes of Adidas, or they left Le Coq Sportif. They didn't go to Nike or nothing like that. They come up with their own kit, and you had the blue, and you had that horrible jade colour. That was just... That was the Full Members Cup, wasn't it? It's a goal, the 5-4 against City. Because cause. Did anybody remember seeing that? Well, Vataras has got Alonso, he's got Shevchenko. Paul, we're just chatting away about the game last night. Good to see you in. Got the yellow Paul Cannaville kit. Brilliant. The salmon pink. God, I remember that. God, dearie me. Richard says, Real Madrid have a bigger stadium, but our boys have bigger arts last night. They did. Ice Cold rates a few players on Leicester, Ndidi and Soyuncu. I think Ndidi's a good shout. I think Ndidi would be someone that would go from Leicester. What if Brendan Rodgers goes to Tottenham? How many players will follow him? Will those two follow him? Soyuncu and Ndidi? Maybe. Ndidi needs to be playing for a bigger team. No disrespect to Leicester at all, but Aaron, I just feel so bad for Werner. He's done a fantastic job for us. Works so hard and gives us all every game. But lacks the end product and that for everyone. Yeah, exactly. Aaron, I was just saying, I'm not sure how long you've been on, but I was just basically saying about the fact that what Timo Werner did last night was, I don't want to know. Don't want to know any scores, Paul. I'm recording it. I'm going to remove that. No spoilers. I'm recording it to watch the game after this at 10 o'clock. Dear me. I didn't see that at all. I haven't deleted it. I just didn't see it in the first place. That's all right. And what was I going to say? Yeah, about Werner. So last night, what he did is he moved in between the three centre backs at different times in the game. He kept moving between them from one side to the other, to the middle, to out, to the right, to the middle, to the left. And they didn't know. It's fine. No worries, Paul. It's fine. He didn't understand, or he didn't realise. They didn't understand how to deal with him and the two number 10s. So I think they had a big wake-up call yesterday, Real Madrid. I really did. I really, really did. And I tell you what pleased me most last night about the way we played was the way we approached the game last night. We turned up and we basically said, we don't care about your name. We don't care about the players and the world-class players and your reputation. We basically just turned up and said, right, we're here to play a game of football against 11 players in front of us wearing white kits. Let's go after them. And we did. Yeah, he did. Timo had a good game. He did. The American who plays for Barnsley. Well, that's a good shout. Aaron, yeah, he always creates space for others to get through. He's so intelligent, really recognises the space in which Chelsea can cause damage. His awareness reminds you of a younger Thomas Muller. It's a compliment. Muller's a great player, isn't he? He seems like he's been playing for about 50 years, doesn't he? He doesn't ever look like he ages, Thomas Muller. Goes to Rugby. Great that Werner, if that great Werner goal with this about not being unfairly disallowed, I really think it would have been kick-started this season. He would have done. I agree with you. Brian, it was a 5-4 game against City. We totally bossed the game. We were 5-1 up to the last 10 minutes. We had panic and almost threw it away. We did. Yeah, remember that. Great beyond. I feel for Timo as well but this is a big boys game. Kane would be perfect for us in both play style and his build. We should be making an offer at least. For sure, I love the subs and the injection manager lad immediately. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's just I sort of come away, and although there's a little bit of a tinge of if only we took a 2-1 lead or a 3-1 lead, I still feel great about the way we played. I really, really do. Like I said, I think Real Madrid had a massive wake-up call. They tried to change their formation to match us up. They tried to go 3-on-2 in midfield, and we bossed it for the most part. They might have bossed possession because they were playing most of it backwards or sideways, but I thought we were outstanding last night. Absolutely brilliant last night. And I'm looking forward to next Wednesday, again, here on the channel. Here on the channel, live commentary. Obviously, Saturday against Fulham. Interesting to see what team plays, how many changes he makes. Will he make 6 or 7? Not sure. And then obviously you then got the Real Madrid game. But yeah, so imagine two finals this season. Imagine winning both. Imagine winning the Champions League from coming from nowhere. No one's talking about Chelsea. No one's mentioned Chelsea when it got through to the quarters. And the round of 16 with Atletico. Nobody mentioned Chelsea. We beat Atletico, made them look ordinary. No one mentioned us when we were drawing against Porto. I love the fact that we're the underdogs. I love that. And it just, I think it's great. It does, yeah. We'll win by 2, hopefully, Paul. Len says 5 subs in Europe suits us. It does. To make the 5 changes. Definitely. If we play as well next week as we did last night, we've got every chance to beat them. 100%, Brian. 100%. So the thing is as well is that if you imagine you didn't see that game yesterday, and then you know, for whatever reason, you woke up and have a look at the score, a lot of people will think, oh, 1-1. But it doesn't tell the whole story. Real Madrid hardly touched us. I think at one point, there was a feeble shot that Mendy fell on. There was a header that had no pace on it, and he just caught it easy. But the goal, obviously, for Benzema was just different class. But apart from that, they had nothing else. They hardly touched Chelsea going forward. Hardly gave us any real concern. Brian, as we said, that Batara. What do you think about German players who play for us, like Ballack? Well, I mean, Ballack was different class, wasn't he? I don't actually think it's going to be. I don't think it's to do with the fact that they're German players. I just think that these days the players are so professional wherever they play. But obviously, they've had a big impact at Chelsea. Ballack especially. But there's that argument. When you talk about Frank Lampard, there's the argument that Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard couldn't play next to each other. They couldn't play with each other in England. They couldn't play together in an England shirt. But then you look at Michael Ballack and Frank Lampard. They could, and they did, and it worked. So, Dan, Chelsea gets into the header teams. They do get into the header teams. Pep Guardiola is one of them. He always hated playing against us. We always had like the hoodoo over Barcelona, didn't we? Alonso. Will fans been out in the finals, the FA Cup? FA Cup, they're talking about 22,000 fans. Champions League, not sure. MSB, what's your front three for the second leg? Same 3 as last night for me. The mobility, the movement, it's got to be the same 3. Who would you put MSB? Who would you go with? Thing is as well, if Chelsea score first, I mean, Madrid know they've got to score anyway. They didn't score. They scored a great goal from Benzema, but apart from that, nothing else. So they know they've got to come and score against us. So they could come out all guns blazing and go at us. And the longer the game goes on, if they don't score, the more desperate they're going to be. And that's where the space opens up. And that's when we can hit them on the counter. Hopefully. Let's just hope that between now and next Wednesday, this time next week, there's no injuries and nobody's missing. I think N'Golo Conte last night was just superhuman. The guy was just unbelievable. I was watching, as I said, I recorded the game, did the commentary with you guys. I went back indoors and I watched the whole game after we finished up on here. And there was a point at the end of the game where he made a great run down the wing. And Glenn Hoddle was like, where does he get his energy from? It's like the 85th, 86th minute. Where does he get that energy from? He's just unbelievable, N'Golo Conte. But I was worried, and I am worried about the fact that he was outstanding last night. If he's outstanding against Real Madrid next week, a bid's going to come in from Madrid. I think what you saw last night is Casemiro is regarded as one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe or in Spain. He was nowhere near Conte last night. He was second fiddle by a mile last night. N'Golo Conte just made him look stupid. Ice Cold. Tuchel seems very confident for the second leg. We have the extra day of rest. Exactly. We do. So we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, game Wednesday, because we've got Fulham, obviously, 5:30 Saturday. So just so you know, guys, obviously, as I said, live commentary on here Saturday for the Fulham game. Live commentary back on here, Real Madrid next week. The only thing, never forget, Ballack is rage with Abidal's uncalled handball from his shot. And when he chased the referee when we played Barcelona in the most ridiculous game of football. Chelsea still had 3 penalties that game. Unbelievable. Aaron, this is sort of unrelated, but I was just wondering, was there ever a moment during the Super League debacle when you might consider ending your support for the Blues? I don't know. I don't know. I thought, I mean, What I have to say is, imagine if it went through. Imagine the protest. Imagine the unrest. Imagine the Chelsea supporters, trust, and everybody else. Imagine the uproar. Paul A, what we showed last night, we're a team worth playing for. Exactly. Brian, we need to rest a few players. We can't afford to slip up against Fulham. 3 points are essential. They are definitely. Can we not buy players off a different team, says Indy? Yeah, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. Who do you want to buy, Indy? Who would you buy from a different team? But don't forget as well, Chelsea spent a lot of money last summer. Will they spend the same amount this summer? Probably not. To me, the way the squad looks at the moment is unbalanced because you've got three left backs. One of them goes. 2 players for every position. 1 centre back goes. We've got 5, including Tomori. So we've only got 3 attacking or 3 players that can play wide. Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech. Need 1 more that can play wide as a winger. Forget Werner, that's not his role. And then if Giroud goes, then you need 1 more striker in. So you can see Chelsea, and also not only that, but centre midfielders. We've only got 3. You've got Jorginho, Conte, Kovacic, need 1 more. So 3 players we need, 2 out and 3 in. Which the experience we'll get going to next season will be huge. It will. Alonso, do we keep Kepa? I think they will. Forget talk about Donnarumma. He's going to go to Juve on a free, I believe. MSB wants to see Mount, Pulisic and Ziyech play together next week. Thanks, Michael. I'm recording the game. I didn't want to know the result, but never mind. Oh, dear. I did run the risk, I'll be honest with you. I do know that. It's fine. It's not a problem. Just ruined my whole rest of my evening when I watch it back. It's fine. Gazimbo, last night against Real was the best I've seen us play in years. They couldn't cope with us. They couldn't, mate. Couldn't cope with us at all. But even to you, Michael, anyway. No worries. CFC Lazio, good to see you. You're afraid Davis finished. As a wing-back, yeah. As a centre-back, I think he's all right. I think he's decent. I think he is decent. But I'm only on till about 10 o'clock, so I was going to go and watch the game. Is it worth watching now? Of course it's worth watching. I want to see them, how they play. I like to study games of football while I watch this sort of stuff. So, yes, we just talked about last night about the fact that Werner got a lot of stick, but what he does, Woodshed, see, people are turning up now. The football's finished. Now they want to come and say hello. Woodshed, how are you doing? I'm only on for another... Well, I was going to just stay on till 10. Yeah. It's all right. You're not the only one, Michael. Paul did it as well. It's fine. Let's have a look at that's the game ruined then. Michael says needs Ziyech playing up the middle. Thing is with Ziyech though, do you think he can play with his back to goal, being man marked by a defender? I don't think he can. He needs space. Let's have a look here. Gazimbo, Dave looks shattered most of the time now, but what a player he's been for us. He has. Absolutely brilliant. CFC is okay going forward, but far too slow defending. He was huffing yesterday, puffing, wasn't he? 6-9 Trent, hello mate, how you doing? King, good to see you. Ricky, bro, what do you think of the Werner? Do you think it needs to be dropped? No. I was saying that I watched the game back yesterday. These guys that have been watching already are going to hear me say it again. Hold on. See, look, there's no point. There's no point me saying I didn't want to know the score. Look, that's 3 people. AC, never mind. What I was saying about if you watch the game back, you probably won't. But what was interesting to see with Timo Werner last night is he moved, continuously kept moving between centre backs. He went from the right side into the middle to the left and kept moving. He kept moving across to keep them occupied, and the 2 number 10s were finding space. Werner did great yesterday. Did really well. He should have scored the first goal. I get that. He had to take it quickly, but for the snake's long legs, he saved it. But I think Werner will play. I think he needs to start next week. Michael thinks Tammy should start against Fulham. That might be a good shout, and he might start as well because of changes. Wood says, Tom doing this from the UK, misjudged the stream startup. No worries, it's fine, no problem. Nana feels really scared for the second leg because I feel Real could beat us. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be all good. They're going to come out guns blazing. They didn't do much against us yesterday. Think about the shots that. How many times did Mendy have to make saves? Not very often. And ones he did were comfortable. Alonso, good night, mate. I'll keep you both posted about the channel membership. Yeah, channel membership people are going to be on the channel. 99p a month to get yourself a badge in the chat. Highlighted your name in the chat, obviously. And $2.99 a month for members only. Live streams, chats like this. CFC, that's him. Running misses chances, but he makes things happen. He does. His movement and his pace scares defenders. And he opens up the spaces. Mohamed, score prediction for the second leg. I'm going to go Chelsea to win on the night. 2-0. Michael, everyone said Atletico will be dangerous second leg. Exactly. King Raf says Chelsea City final. I'll take that. Timo Blue Flame Werner. If that's you, Timo, welcome. I know it isn't. Most Chelsea channel on YouTube bash him. I don't bash him at all because I appreciate what he does. Michael, we've got to keep Benzema quiet. Job done. Exactly. Kai will start against Real. Timo on the bench. Other way round. You're going to get, if I become a member on this channel, what can I do? You're going to get a, I'm waiting for him to be approved. So, it's about building the community. And then what we do, we'll have a couple of times a month, we'll just have a members only live chat like this. Just so there's more, so you guys get a feel. You don't get, like, people come and raid the chat and put up ridiculous comments yesterday. We got the number on Pep big time, we have. Batara, Arsene Wenger said he could never see Real Madrid. Couldn't create many threats in his life until last night. Yeah, I was surprised that he never saw Real Madrid not create many. Yeah, exactly. But look at all the other teams that have suffered the same way. Tuchel's got it right with this season with the formation. He just, when it doesn't work out and we're struggling, he needs to change it up or do something. Right, looking forward to membership details. Thanks for the chat, mate. See you all on Saturday. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Michael, thank you, mate. Appreciate it as always. Appreciate your comments. Guys, I am going to leave you. I'm going to drop off. It's just an hour's chat tonight. We're going to do more of these. Just chat rather than me sit and do a video and then wait for your comments. I just thought I'd do a bit of a chat. So we'll do a chat. Well, obviously we've got the game next week, next Wednesday. So we'll build up to that. Obviously it's bank holiday coming up as well. So in England it's bank holiday Monday, so we're off work. So we're going to sit there and what we're going to do. Oh, Gazimbo, first time catching my stream. Gazimbo, do me a favour, mate, while you're there. Go to my channel videos. Click on last night's commentary and just flick through to get a feel for it. The guys you've got on the chat are amazing. The community's great. Hopefully you're going to see the proper commentary, ball by ball. Have a look at it. If you like it, smash the subscribe button and come back and see me Saturday. And these guys and me will all talk you through it. So hopefully you enjoy it. I'll be there Saturday, yeah. Chelsea Fulham, I'll be commentating again. Thank you, Gazimbo, for joining. Paul's here Saturday. CFC, Lazio. Rudiger's been good. Got to keep his head ice cold. Thank you, mate. Michael as well. Richard, thank you. Timo, thank you very much. Brilliant. Thanks, Gazimbo. Have a good night, mate. Right, guys, I'm going to call it there. So thank you very much for spoiling my night by telling me the score in the game. It's all right. You didn't know. It's fine. It's okay. I won't hold it against you at all. Much. I won't. So have a good night, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good day. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching and thanks for tuning in. See ya.